Poor Sega Saturn. I'd imagine most of you watching are acutely aware of just how wrong a foot Sega put forward on the lead-up to the console's launch. Firstly, there was the infamous mic drop from Sony's PlayStation at E3, serving to massively undercut the Sega Saturn's launch price of $399. Then there was the surprise announcement at that same E3 that the Saturn would be available right there and then. A surprise to consumers, a surprise to developers, and a surprise to retailers. This not only meant that many developers aiming for the original launch had to rush their games or risk missing being featured prominently, but also that some retailers were very upset with US chain KB Toys dropping Sega from their lineup entirely. But those are old wounds for longtime Sega fans, and I don't mean to reopen them. The truth is, while short-lived, the Sega Saturn produced many revolutionary, classic, and fantastic video games, a couple of which made it into the launch lineup. And we're going to look at the US launch lineup today. Are you ready? Then let's do this. Clockwork Knight truly has one of the most unhinged early CG video game intros I've ever seen. I mean, just look at it. Look at it! Sir Tongara de Pepperaucho III, or Pepper if you want to get serious about this, is head over heels in love with the frightening princess who lives in the bedroom clock. She gets nicked, Pepper says nah, and it's up to us to walk to the right until we save her. As that description suggests, Clockwork Knight is a side-scrolling platformer. You make your way through toy-themed timed stages, attacking enemies with your special back key, avoiding obstacles, and leaping your way to freedom, but it's all a bit unremarkable.
It's okay, princess, I'll save you!
There are gameplay wrinkles in that some enemies require multiple hits to take down, boss fights require you to confront deep-seated fears you didn't even know you had.
Please, what are you?
And there's bonus areas with additional collectibles and items, but reaching them requires spending your precious, ever-decreasing time, and also mastering some slightly dodgy platforming mechanics. The main menu's good, though. Clockwork Knight received an average review score of 66.67% according to Game Rankings, but that was based on just 3 reviews, so I'm going with an average of Metacritic's 13 listed reviews instead for an average of 76.5%. Given it's one of the highest grossing arcade games of all time, it makes total sense that Sega would fall over themselves to bring Daytona USA to the home console audience, which they did. Now I'm talking about it. So beloved and well known is Deucer that there's a good chance you either recognize or are very familiar with this track. I have lost count of the amount of times I failed to race around it in time in an arcade setting. So, how is the Saturn port, and can I do any better? Well, firstly, there's some quite noticeable render distance and pop-in issues, but, and I don't say this lightly, it actually doesn't matter. Did it really bother players? No, because they had Daytona USA in their living room, and as it turns out, that's pretty bloody special. I, however, was still rubbish, and spent a good portion of my time with it slowly being repaired in the pit stop. Beginner, advanced, and expert modes are available, each with their own map. You pass checkpoints to extend your time, and the countdowns are everywhere, even on the score submission screen. Mercifully, however, there is a Saturn mode that removes the timers and turns the races into a standard lap-by-lap affair, which was much more my speed. For your enjoyment, here's a bit of Sky High. So good. And without playing any more for fear of getting in trouble, a round of applause for Takanobu Mitsuyoshi for just going so flipping hard on the soundtrack. Magnificent. Daytona USA was praised by both players and critics, earning an average of 87.3% according to the reviews listed on Wikipedia. Oh yeah, here we go, sports time! I've played a hockey game before. Oh Christ, look out, here he comes. But I've never watched hockey, so I'm going to give this everything I've got!
Welcome to Sega Sports NHL All-Star Hockey. I'm Marv Albert, along with Steve Gallagher. You can use your Saturn controller to access any of the options on the wall behind me. If you're a rookie, select the Help Square, and Steve will give you a hand.
Steve? And here we are at the arena, and the voiceover is absolutely incredible.
Hello again, hockey fans, and welcome to Joe Louis Arena.
Thank you, Krusty, and welcome, children. I am
Joe Louis Arena.
So, it's admittedly not the best looking game. It's a strange pixelated hybrid of 2D and 3D that was even called out by reviewers in 1995. Gameplay-wise, I ran into a time-honoured tradition here on Sports Time. I didn't know what the controls were. Ignoring the fact that the Saturn's controller was unique and mapping it to my Xbox controller was a complete nightmare, shooting requires you to double tap a button, something that took me far too long to work out. Got there eventually though, didn't I? Goal! Also, there was so much grunting, like wall-to-wall, non-stop boy sounds. Occasionally, members of each team would gently headbutt one another while trying to time a swing with the ref's whistle, but the CPU knew as well as I did that mashing the hit button guaranteed victory. The main appeal for NHL fans would obviously be the season mode, where you could customize your licensed NHL teams and rosters, which, as Sega Saturn magazine put it, really makes it interesting. 70.7%, according to an average of reviews listed on Moby Games. Panzer Dragoon is a rails shooter and a launch title that Sega hoped would showcase the power and importance of their new system. And you know what? I reckon it did. It certainly aged by today's standards, but due to its genre, extra graphical clout could be funneled into environments, character models, and effects. But what is it about, Ben? I'm going to tell you right now. Or rather, this surprisingly long cutscene at the start of the game will tell you. You play as Kale Flugy, or Flug. How would you say that? A hunter with a stupid, rubbish, and slow horse that can't fly. Due to a series of fortuitous events, you happen upon your very own dragon, and the dragon is white and blue and pretty, and you probably tell the dragon your secrets, and the dragon tells you its secrets too as well. It's comprised of a number of chapters, each preceded by a cutscene and bookended by a boss, and you alternate between murdering local wildlife and murdering technologically advanced humans, which is, variety. When I say local wildlife, however, I mean the giant worm from Dune and his brothers. Gameplay is simple in that you mash the shoot button until everything's dead, with the ability to look side to side and behind your dragon as and when necessary, but it's the presentation that really blew people away. Entertainment Weekly gave it a perfect score, saying, "From the gorgeous 7-minute movie quality intro, which nearly overshadows the game itself," debatable, to the lush audio track, to the 360-degree action provided by a rotating point of view, Dragoon immerses you in a lyrical and exhilarating epic. 91%, according to Game Rankings. Oh yeah, here we go, sports time! I've played a golf game before. There is a very real risk posed to camera operators, but I've never watched golf, so I'm going to give this everything I've got. Pebble Beach Golf Links is a port of a 3DO game from the year prior and graces us with an intro so spectacularly white that you can see it from space. And here we have the very acceptable in the 90s look being rocked by professional golfer and blue screen obstructor Craig Stadler. Truly the image of peak performance. Before each hole, you get a bit of insight about what lies ahead, and naturally, Craig gives you his thoughts too.
First hole at Pebble Beach is a short, but relatively difficult par 4.
I reckon he's feeding me faulty information, however, as he's also competing, and he's much better at golfing than I am.
Power drive!
Visually, it's interesting. There's a digitized Mortal Kombat-style caddy and player, and the crowd is a flat image I became intimately acquainted with after hitting a ball at them. There they are. Controls are the same as in every golf game, and putting is impossible, as in every golf game. Thankfully, Craig is on hand to raise spirits with his winning charm and effortless charisma.
Second hole is a short par 5, and it's a must birdie.
I love you, Craig.
The FMV clips are outstanding, really just best in class, but I can't say that I'll be rushing back to Pebble Beach golf links anytime soon. It earned 73% according to an average of reviews listed on Moby Games.
I'm Craig Stadler. It's a great day for golf, and there's no place like Pebble Beach.
Would you like to play again? You have selected no.
A packing game for the North American Saturn launch, Virtua Fighter's significance cannot be understated. Not only did it break ground for 3D fighters, but revolutionized the entire fighting genre, laying the groundwork for every title following in its footsteps. Ultimate Future Games magazine even went so far as to call Virtua Fighter the game that killed the 16-bit machines, which is kind of true. I'd give it more to time than anything else, but fair enough. Like Daytona USA, Virtua Fighter is a home console port of a very popular arcade unit, and once again, I know it doesn't look incredible by today's standards. Alright, there aren't many things from the 90s that do. However, these blocky boys and girls are special and perfect, and they deserve our love. A significant point in its favour, and perhaps proof of just how influential it ended up being, is that I was able to jump into it with no prior experience and pick it up just as quickly as I did far more recent 3D fighters. There were some flickering issues, likely an emulator quirk. The constant countdown timer was irksome, and the ring-outs I encountered were absolutely bonkers. Ring out! But Virtua Fighter has a stellar reputation for a very good reason. Combo grapple moves, differing fighting styles between combatants, and impressive animations all elevate the experience beyond what I was expecting, honestly, even allowing me to forgive this woman's upsetting smile when I selected her. Virtua Fighter was a game changer, gobbled up several awards, and received a review average of 92.2% according to the reviews listed on Wikipedia. Oh yeah, here we go, sports time! I've played a football game before.
Hell, a third official with their back turned could do a better job than wherever they dug up this guy. You fucking suck.
And I've also watched football. Even so, I'm going to give this everything I've got. Whoa, look at these massive pectoral lads doing overhead kicks that seem to be going the wrong way. Oh, come on. No. That's not fair. Look, why are you so fast?
You'll be in trouble when I learn how to run. Excellent!
It's not remotely licensed, but Worldwide Soccer Sega International Victory Goal Edition, which is an absurd name, follows the usual trend of including a handful of national sides with random player names. While it took me a minute to get used to the controls, I did actually manage to score a goal. I really do wish I knew how to sprint, but it was actually fairly competitive, and to my surprise, I sort of enjoyed it. It does have a couple of glaring issues in that when the direction of play switches at halftime, you can barely see what's going on or where you're going, and the backing track loops endlessly, but it does offer a variety of modes, including leagues, cups, and penalty shootouts with superhuman CPU keepers.
Hang on, a penalty what out?
Worldwide Soccer Sega International Victory Goal Edition achieved 76.4% according to an average of reviews listed on Moby Games. And that 76.4% takes the average score of the Sega Saturn launch lineup to 81%. And there we have it, every Sega Saturn launch game sort of reviewed in 2022. Wow, 2022. Past couple of years have been fun, haven't they? Make sure you follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with future videos in this series. Subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments all about which of the launch games was your favourite. Thank you so much for watching. Look after yourselves and Happy New Year. Bye!